In Redux Redux, a woman who lost her 14-year-old daughter to a serial killer several years ago is stuck in a multiverse time loop trying to find her daughter and trying to exact revenge against the serial killer who abducted and murdered her daughter. This woman, Irene, played by Michaela McManus, she's trying to go into different universes, trying to prevent the serial killer from murdering her daughter. If she goes into different multiverses over and over again, she hopes to prevent this from happening. Irene kills this serial killer multiple times over and over again, sometimes at his workplace, sometimes at his home, and one day when she goes to his home to kill him, she walks into the bathroom of his house and finds a 15-year-old teenage girl. Irene rescues this teenage girl, and this gives her hope that maybe one day, if she enters the right universe, she'll be able to find her teenage daughter and save her from this serial killer. Redux Redux is directed by Matthew McManus and Kevin McManus, and this is his third feature after Funeral Kins and Block Island Sound. And I think it's their sister Michaela McManus who stars in this film as Irene. Redux Redux is a very clever kind of like time travel, multi-universe type thriller. It's very nail-biting. It's kind of like edge of your seat pretty much the whole film. It's very meticulously planned. Everything is thought out very, very, very much in detail. At the start of the film, we kind of jump straight into the action. Like, we're not really sure what's going on. Irene, she's just jumping into different universes. She's basically just stalking this one guy. He works at a diner. He's like the chef at the diner, and she usually goes to his work to ask about him and kill him. And in the first 20 minutes of the film, she's just over and over again killing him in different scenarios. And this first 20 minutes of the film, it ends when Irene just like she sees this serial killer at the diner, and suddenly she shoots him straight away, like in public in front of everybody. And then the police end up coming, and then she has to quickly run away, and she escapes the diner and she runs away, and she has to quickly escape to her hotel room, which is nearby. And she's been chased by the police. It's a very, very hectic high octane chase, like a car chase into the hotel. And then when she gets to the hotel, she goes into the room and she jumps into this like metal box, and then suddenly the police are trying to barge down the door to get into the hotel room, and then the metal box inside the hotel room like explodes, and then she disappears, and then the police are like, what's going on? And then that's the end of the first 20 minutes of the film. It's kind of like an introduction to her daily life. And then after the first 20 minutes, we're kind of introduced to her daily life. We kind of see that maybe she's been doing this for a long time. Every time she goes to the serial killer's house, she opens this kind of like jewelry box type thing. And in this box is like parts of, like, say, jewelry or parts of a girl, because this serial killer obviously abducts and kills many young teenage girls. So, and every time he abducts one, he takes something from them, like a piece of clothing or an earring, and puts it inside the box. And every time Irene goes to a different universe, she goes to the man's home and opens the box, and I guess she's hoping that one day she'll find like something that belongs to her teenage daughter, but that's kind of like her what her daily routine or weekly routine is. That's every day, like transporting. She gets into this like metal box and transports to a different universe and kills this guy, and hopefully she's just hoping over and over again that she will be able to find some kind of evidence that her teenage daughter was there, or she just made it, or she can eventually find her teenage daughter alive one day. And there's a scene where we're introduced to a side character played by Jim Cummings. We noticed that maybe, like, when we first introduced to him, she kind of introduces to herself as like a grieving mother, and he's lost his wife like recently, so they're both going to this like grief counseling session, and that's where they meet outside the session, and she like invites him for a beer. But then as the interaction goes further, we realize that she knows him already, and she eventually confesses to him that, oh, I know you, I met you last week, and I think this man is someone she's attracted to, someone she can confide in, and someone she's probably met many times, maybe hundreds of times before. And he's just someone that she can talk to, someone that she trusts, someone she can have like a relationship, or like a sexual relationship with sometimes if she needs to. So that's another insight into her weekly or daily life. This is someone she can talk to. And then when Irene one day goes to the serial killer's home and finds this teenage girl in the bathroom, and she rescues her, the film changes perspective just a little bit. We follow this teenage girl. She ends up running away from Irene. She steals her gun and runs away on her own because she's a bit of a teenage runaway. She's a foster, like she's stuck in foster homes and like group homes for troubled teenage children, and she runs away from Irene, and she steals her gun, and then we follow this teenage girl around. I tried to catch the name of the teenage girl in the film, but I don't know what her name is. I'll just refer to her as teenage girl. But we follow this teenage girl around, and then she ends up trying to hitchhike, and she ends up at this with this older lady hitchhiking, and then they're having lunch at a diner, and then Irene ends up finding the teenage girl at this diner, and then the teenage girl and Irene end up joining forces again. On their travels, Irene and this teenage girl, they stop at a kind of like gas station, supermarket type thing, and then while they're shopping inside there, the teenage girl is trying to steal something, and the shop attendant catches her and tries to call the police, and then the police come, and they Irene ends up trying to run away. Like she ends up like trying to shoot her way out of the situation, and then she takes the teenage girl and they run away to a hotel, and then Irene puts her inside the box with her, and she tells her, oh, this is going to hurt. And then we actually see inside the box what happens when she transports to a different multiverse. Once they're transported to a different multiverse, she opens the box, and then the teenage girl is very confused, and then Irene confesses, like tells her what's going on, and they spend the rest of the film. Irene tells her where this serial killer lives, and this teenage girl really wants to exact revenge, really wants to help Irene kill the serial killer, but Irene doesn't really want her involved. She kind of like takes like a motherly role over this teenage girl. The film in the middle section of the film, when Irene and teenage girl are traveling to this serial killer's home, it's a little bit uneven. I think all of the multiverse time traveling aspect of the film doesn't really gel, doesn't really make a lot of sense all of the time. If you go back and think about it, maybe it doesn't really like become really cohesive. And there's this whole like subsection of the film where this metal box, that part, I think it starts to malfunction because Irene carries it around, and she rents this like rental van, and she puts the box in the back of the van, and it starts to malfunction. So they need like a special part to fix it. And then Irene knows these people who sell parts, and there's this whole other community of people who like travel to different universes, and that part of the film is not really explored very well, and it's not really explained where Irene got this box from. Did she make it? Did she buy it? So I would have liked a little bit of like backstory of where this came from and how she became into this situation, but it's not really. It's just a small complaint. But this film really comes together in the final maybe 20 minutes of the film, where the teenage girl is separated from Irene, and teenage girl goes to the serial killer's home to try to kill him by herself, and she ended up getting kidnapped by this serial killer, and Irene has to come and rescue her. And this final 20 minutes of the film is very thrilling. Because this serial killer, we don't really get to know him much during the film. We just see him when Irene tries to shoot him, and that's it. So in the final 20 minutes of the film, we really see how like sinister and evil this guy is, and he's really quite scary, and there's quite a few suspenseful moments in the final 20 minutes of the film. If our teenage girl is able to escape from this man, and then Irene comes to save the day. But that final 20 minutes of the film is very well done, very thrilling. Michaela McManus, she's fantastic as Irene. You can really see it on her face, like that she's been doing this for a long time. She's stuck in this like habit, like she doesn't know what to do with her life. Like you can see when she's transported to different universes that she's getting closer and closer, and she can see like little details change every single time she goes to a different universe, and she's just obsessed with this thought of finding her daughter eventually. And Michaela's performance is really good in this film. I did find that the actress who plays the teenage girl, Stella Marcus, maybe she's a little bit too old. Like, she's supposed to be 15 in this movie. She just looked a little bit too old for this film, and the dialogue and the way she talks and acts in this film, maybe like 18, 19 years old. But she has been bouncing around like foster homes and group homes for like her whole life, I guess. So maybe she's very street smart, so I guess that would explain that. But for me, she just seemed like a little bit too old for that role. I give Redux 3.5 stars out of 5. I definitely recommend checking out this film. It's very clever, very thrilling, very engaging, like time travel, multiverse, thriller. There's a lot of twists along the way. It does get a little bit uneven in the middle section of the film, where a lot of the details are not really explained very well. There's not much backstory to this film, but it really comes together in the final act of the film, where Irene and the teenage girl come face to face with this serial killer. So I definitely recommend checking out Redux Redux. It's a very thrilling indie thriller. What did you think of Redux Redux? Please comment below what you thought of the film. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.